And welcome back, everybody. Today we have wheels for the old truck. Thanks to Hanson's Wheel and Wagon Shop in South Dakota. Everybody up there just did a fantastic job putting new wood spokes, felloes, new rubber on my old hubs and rims, and they just turned out beautiful. Really nice work. Fit and finish, the color, everything's just great. So let's get these things installed, and thanks again, everybody at Hanson's. Okay, go for a ride. All right, so we got the engine running. This is it, 1917 Model F International Harvester. A few more things to do. We got the hood, fenders, the bed boards for the cargo area. But otherwise, we got a good running truck, and we're just working the bugs out of it. All right, so first impressions driving the old truck around. I've had the wheels on it for a couple weeks now, just working out the bugs. You know, nobody in my family alive has ever driven this thing. You know, great grandpa Dan, he bought this thing new in 1917. But of course, he's not around anymore to talk to find out how this thing performs or anything. So I initially driving it around, just kind of stayed in first gear. I wasn't sure what to expect really. Make sure I don't want to break anything. So it's quite a slow speed in first gear. You can probably win one of those slow tractor races where the last one across the line wins the race. So a nice slow granny gear. Second gear is, I spent so much time in first, I got acclimated to it. And the first time I got brave enough to grab second gear, here it is now. It was kind of a surprise how speedy it was. And second's actually a nice speed. These hard rubber tires. It's a nice comfortable speed, pretty smooth. There's one more shift. Here's third gear. That's direct. That's your nice highway gear. But the second is really nice. Try the brakes here. I got the brakes adjusted pretty well. The brakes are very effective. I actually skid the back wheels. Brakes are on the rear axle only. But you can skid the tires if you're not careful with just the foot brake. Let's get off in the dirt here. We'll turn around. There's quite a bit of flex in this canopy top. It's really not that rigid with just the four verticals. A lot of the brass era cars had those diagonals that would come down, attach to the front fenders, provide a nice support for everything. But all the photos I've seen of these trucks online, the folks that have them now, and then the original ones too, in black and white photos, they don't seem to ever show those diagonal struts. Get second gear here. There's second. I'll go up the hill a little bit. So I think the canopy might benefit from, it'll certainly make things more rigid with the diagonal braces. Uphill as the engine picks up speed, I think the governor's kicking in and seems to run out of power. Might be coming in too soon. There's 3 butterflies on the intake flow, of course the choke, and then the throttle butterfly, which is controlled by your foot. But then there's a third butterfly. It's your speed governor. It's controlled by flyweights on the front of the crankshaft. Sort of your safety speed governor. It protects the engine, so it's a good thing, but I think it's kicking in too early and limiting the horsepower at the higher RPMs, especially in high gear on the highway. It just it really bogs down, runs out of power. So I might take a look at the governor, see when that starts to close. All right, back in the shop. Let's take a look at that. So we're back at the front of the engine. The speed governor flyweights live here at the front of the crankshaft behind this cover plate. That interacts with a sleeve and fork arrangement. It connects to this spring-loaded rod that comes up and is connected to the butterfly valve. So if there's any adjustment to be made, you can do that on this governor housing here, or if you really need to make big changes, you can put different springs on the flyweights itself. But what I'll do is I'll pull this cover off, and I can run the engine and put my laser tachometer on it and see exactly what this butterfly valve is doing while the engine's running. With the cover removed, we can see the arrangement with the just a simple bell crank and butterfly arrangement. So, yeah, let's start the engine and see how this behaves at different RPMs. All right, so here we are at sort of a low idle. It's idling about 340 right now. Butterfly's mostly closed, but if we just kick the throttle up just a little bit, you can see the governor's choking it down way too early. That's probably only 600 RPM or so, something like that. So, in fact, let's just see what that is. Let's run it about here. Yeah, that's only 500 RPM, and it's closing down. So future me is going to have to deal with that, either make an adjustment here, or most likely just different springs on the flyweights. This transmission is very simple, just straight gears, and no synchro mesh or anything fancy like that. So you have to sort of double clutch it to get into second and third gear. So here's first gear now. Second, the engine come down. Second gear. And I'm just starting to figure out what it needs for third gear to get it in there smoothly. There it is, third gear. So it's a little bit of a double clutch technique, but get some time on the machine, I'll get it dialed in. The truck seems to steer pretty nice. The turning radius isn't super fantastic, certainly not compared to a modern car. But the forces on the steering wheel are not incredibly high. You can steer with one hand quite easily. I've heard stories that some of these old trucks steer, oh, that's going to steer real hard, you'll be ready for that. I'm not seeing it. No, it's got good kingpins. Second gear here. And the tie rod is nice and tight, so no complaints on the steering. It really drives nice. It's third gear. Yeah, really like a nice modern car almost. Just a little slow. You know, 17 miles per hour is the maximum speed according to the book. 17 miles per hour, 20 horsepower. That's all you get. Get turned around in the flat here. Alright, that's about all I have for you. Truck's running pretty good. Identified a few things to work on yet, but appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.